Hey buddy, Crow back again, and I've got my Evercade EXP in the mail today. This is the 17th of December. Now, this was officially released December 15th, and it's actually a bit of a story of how I wound up with this one. Because I originally ordered the Founders Edition, which is black, from Funstock, and technically I still do have that pre-ordered. However, the truck that those Founders Editions are going to be shipped out to countries other than Europe, well, apparently that was robbed. So now they have to make more Founders Editions to ship out to the people that actually pre-ordered them, like myself. So that's not going to come till January, at the very least, as far as I understand. Primarily, the only reason I ordered the Founders Edition to begin with was because it was the first one to have pre-orders, and I thought maybe that would be released before this one, because I kind of like the way the white one looked better. So I was on the fence about ordering this one as soon as it came up on Amazon. And when it did come up, I was like, I kept looking at, I don't know. But when last week, when this robbery story came out, I was like, okay. And I ordered this on Amazon. Now, the thing is, this was supposed to be released December 15th. And Amazon kept saying December 15th, December 15th. And the 15th came, and nearly the whole day went by, and all I saw was no delivery date estimated. Okay, so it's going to be one of those things where Amazon doesn't really know what's going on, because that does happen from time to time with Evercade stuff. For example, the C64 collection and the Yawa's Awakening and Cathedral cartridges, I ordered these at the same time. They were released on the same day. I ordered these at the same time on Amazon. I got this one on the day of release, and then this one came 3 weeks later. So I don't know what the story is with them sometime. So I remembered that, hey, Best Buy is selling these as well. So late in the day of December 15th, I went ahead and I put in an order through Best Buy. I was like, okay, whichever one gets here first, that's the one I'm going to keep. And the other one I'll cancel. Well, by the next morning, Best Buy had already printed up a shipping label, and they were already telling me that December 19th was the day I was going to be getting this. And then the next morning, you're going to get it on a day early, on the 18th, which is Sunday. I was like, okay, cool, even better. And then early this morning, the tracking said, oh, I'm going to get it today. So this only got to me in 2 days. So Evercade EXP has got games from Capcom built in there. I can't remember. It's like, yeah, 18 games right there. It says Capcom games. It's also got the Irem collection in there. So I still have the Toa Plan collection ordered from Amazon. I think I actually, no, I take that back. Well, technically, I still do have it ordered through Amazon, but I figure I'd order that from Best Buy as well. But I have the option of in-store pickup. So when I got this, I was like, okay, I'm going to put the order in for in-store pickup for that. That's not going to come till Thursday, which is fine, because I probably wouldn't even get till then. So that's how I have the Toa Plan cartridge coming. Now, if I had gotten the Founders Edition, I would have gotten the Irem and the Toa Plan collections in the bundle. But on the other hand, I'm glad I have this version, because this is the US version, and you could tell it's the US version because there's no Peggy logo in the corner. So presumably the box that contains the Irem collection will have that as well. And I like those versions better, just because it's not, doesn't have the Peggy logo blocking the artwork. I don't know, I'm just weird like that, I suppose. So here we go. There's the on the side here, we've got the Street Fighter 2 artwork. On the other side, it looks like we got some Mega Man X and 1942, 1943 artwork. On the back, we have Evercade EXP cartridge video game system, save state, scan light filters, play HD on TV. It is 720p. So if you have an Evercade VS, you're still better off using that hooked up to the TV. However, I think if you want to play the Capcom games, you'd have to have this, as well as the Namco collections will work in here too. So if you wanted to play the Namco collection on TV, you connected this to the TV. And that's just like it was with the original as well. Play vertical for arcade action, so they do have the Tate Mode. And that was a big selling feature. A lot of people were excited for that. We'll see how that actually works out, because that's not. I just wanted this because I had the better screen, and it had the extra shoulder buttons the original one doesn't have. It's more in line with what the Evercade VS is. So Capcom built in 18 games. We'll get through those when we power this thing on. Irem collection, 6 games. So those are the 6 games in it. So in the top here, we give a little cartridge logo, and then a bunch of words on the bottom here. But before I open this up, I thought it'd be interesting just to compare this to the original box. So this is not the deluxe pack, but this is the starter pack. This is the one that had 1 cartridge in it. So it's kind of equivalent to this one. So right off the bat, this is just a tiny bit smaller. You kind of see there height-wise. And width-wise, I believe it's about the same. So I just thought that's interesting. So let's get this open. I believe this will slide right out. That's a very similar to how this original Evercade was. So like this Evercade here, yeah, you just pushed it out, slid it out, and that's how that was. You know, I have an unboxing for the other version, the premium pack. The starters pack I never made a video on because I bought that as a backup. So again, very similar. This slides out like this. Retro gaming leveled up. This is what it looked like in the original one. And on the back here, nothing but logos. So here we go. There we go. And the very first thing we see here is the white Evercade EXP. And a lot of people like the red stripes in there. They got rid of that to make this look like more premium. But, you know, if you really, you know what, this really feels a lot better than the other one right off the bat. We'll look at this a little bit more in depth after we go through the contents of the box. You know what, though? This is quite different than the unboxing of the other one. When you opened it up, it was like the same deal. But if you opened up the other one, you had this plastic mold. But this one is instead, it's a cardboard mold, which actually is more environmentally friendly, I guess. So I guess maybe that's why they did it. And then we've got underneath here the Irem collection, which we can put to the side here, and then a cover, which is covering a, yeah, that's right, this is USB-C. And then under here, we've got, I guess, a quick start guide. Yep, plug, power, hold 2 seconds, game menu, QR code in the corner. And then, oh, here's Tate Mode, how you would use Tate Mode. Yeah, I don't know. To be honest, I don't know about this. Because the problem is I have nothing to grip on under here. I'd like to grip, like, my fingers here have nothing to grip on. I guess it'll work. I mean, that was just my reaction. I guess I could do this, but I don't know. For me, I guess that would take some, well, we'll try it. We'll try it a little bit later, see how that feels. I'm going to assume that there's a little bit of a chart in here. Then we've got our Capcom collection manual, so already jumped in there. So this is a lot like the manuals you get with the collections. However, this one's a little bit bigger, which kind of surprises me. I thought it'd be the same size. So I don't know what the reasoning is for having this to be a little bit bigger, but yeah. Now, while we're at it, we might as well open up the Irem Arcade collection. I probably won't actually get to this cartridge, I would say, for a while, but I am almost done with the Counter 64 collection. And then I've got the Alwa's Awakening and Cathedral cartridge. And then actually I would get to this. But then again, maybe I should actually go ahead and do like some of the hidden games first. I don't know. But yeah, here we go. We got the Irem collection here, the cartridge. So 6 games included, multi-game cartridge, like usual, new box art type on the cover here. Again, you get the color manual here and no bonuses here. Again, I'm going to save this for an entirely different video whenever I get to it. And more than likely, I'll just be playing this on the VS anyway. In fact, I'm still going to be playing more than likely on the VS. But in those rare times where I'd actually like to use, play portably, well, we have this now. And I actually do have a carrying case on order specifically for this. Like, I think I could use the one I'm using for the Evercade right now. But yeah, here we go on the top here. We've got 1 or 2 L2. So yeah, they're nice. Not bad, not bad. Got the start and the select, which I put out of the way. So let's just do a little quick comparison. I had the one with the broken cartridge port here, but this is the one I fixed. I actually fixed this, but I had the missing button. This menu button here, I made this button myself. It's not perfect, but it works. So the reason why I'm not using the one I modified, because I have stickers kind of all over this thing, especially on the back. We don't really want to use that as a comparison. So on the back, looks like we have, like, there's these vents here for air. Well, actually, this one's just faux. This is faux vents. There's nothing going through here. This one is. Looks like maybe to get this one open is going to be a lot easier because I see plugs on the back. So you would remove the plugs, you'd have the screws there, and you could just, take it apart from there. And this is the kind of thing I noticed because I've been taking these things apart. Whereas here you have to pry this faceplate off in order to access the screws. Not that most people would even care about that, but me, I do. So that's better just in that respect. So yeah, we've got these rubber plugs here, but the rest of this is textured plastic. And immediately when I put this in my hands, that's the first thing I noticed. This is like very smooth, it's very slippery. And here, you immediately feel like you've got a better grip on it. Immediately. But yeah, as for comparison, here's our back. Looks like this one is just a little bit wider, longer, wider. I guess it's still the case. Height-wise, the EXP might be a little bit shallower. Yeah, just a tiny bit smaller thickness-wise. Immediately, right off the bat, yeah, this does feel way more premium than this, and this feels a lot better. Even without the screen being turned on, it almost seemed, I can almost tell that it's a better screen to begin with. Let's see on the bottom here. Comparing to the other one, we've got our Tate button here. We've got headphone jack here, USB-C port here, whereas here it was way over here, and power plus and minus. And we've got an LED here for notifications. Looking at the top here, I like the little vents up here. That's pretty. I don't know why that looks pretty nice. I don't know. I have no idea what it is. HDMI is way on the other side. There is recess in there. Rich from Review Tech was showing his on the Evercast, and it looked on his way deeper than it actually is. So I guess now's a good time just to, was my one concern. And I have a right angle here. Oh, and they flipped it around the other way. Oh, that doesn't work for me. Well, I think I have one angled the opposite way. So I can't really use this HDMI adapter because it's now angled the wrong way. But I think in the pack that I bought, I have one going the other way as well. So it's weird, but it does fit. That's the more important thing. I do have other adapters since I won't be using that one for this, obviously. Here, oh, this is the power button up here. Hold it, turn it on. Really, oh, and I just turned it on. So now's a good opportunity to see what happens when we turn it on. Blaze Entertainment. Might as well turn this one on too. Very nice. I'm gonna guess there's usually yeah. Look at this. We've got over half battery power in here, so we'll choose, and that's this one going on. On camera, they both look like very nice screens, but I can tell you right off the bat that the this one looks better, way better. If we're looking at angles, you could tell like straight on, and then you can see the fade there. Whereas here, yeah, you're not getting that. Getting great viewing angles, which you should be because this is an ISP screen. So English, of course. Yeah, you can't see this. Connect to my Wi-Fi. All right, setting up network connection, an IP address. Somebody was complaining in one of my comments that they didn't like the fact that this had Wi-Fi built in because it opened the door for games and everything to be updated. But you know what? This, even though it didn't have Wi-Fi, you still had to update it by plugging into it. It was more cumbersome. So the Wi-Fi here is more of a, it's more to put in line with Evercade VS. And the updates really aren't that frequent, maybe once a month. So we've got our EULA. We got to scroll all the way to the bottom before we can accept it, apparently. Accept. Oh, yes, there's an update available. Of course. Oh, so it's not even gonna update it unless I plug it in. Which is fine. Understandable. Let's get this bastard plugged in. I wonder if I could use the Evercade VS to charge it. So I've got this plugged into the Evercade VS. It just happens to be the, oh, look at the blue light on here is flashing. So there we go. It's charging. So let's do our update. Insert it, of course. System install update. Would you like to update now? So it's nice to see that. Oh, it's not even going to let me update it until the battery gets 50% or more. So we'll just continue letting this charge while we take a look around. We got our secret codes, just like the VS is very similar to the VS. We just don't have our controller option. Like, you wouldn't expect that because you can't plug in a controller to this, obviously. EXP, this is where we've got our EXP collection, Capcom EXP collection, hidden games, Evercade coming soon. So stuff coming soon. I wonder if there's a new game of the month that just came out. So I wonder when this gets updated if that game of the month is going to show up here. So we'll wait for that. hidden games, 0 out of 5. There's only 5. So we'll have to try and figure what those all are. Probably exactly the same ones that are in the VS now. Again, here's the caption. Oh man, look at this. They used the grid layout. That's the one I wanted to use. And oops, I didn't want to start playing it. I was wrong. I thought the default, I thought it was going to be this one. Oh, theme. That's where we need to go. It defaulted it to Evercade Grid, which is the one I said I was going to do. I didn't realize, I thought it was going to like default to either this one or blue and gold. This one, I thought it was going to be this. You know what? I think I got to let this charge a little bit. But in the meantime, I'm just going to clean stuff up a little bit over here. I don't think there's anything else I needed to show off here. All right, well, while we're waiting for this thing to charge, I figured we can do a little bit of comparison. I've actually changed the charging cable so I could have it plugged directly into the wall instead of the Evercade VS. Maybe it'll actually charge faster that way. Probably over 50% right now. We'll try the firmware update after I'm done with this little part here, but I figured we can compare the buttons to other handhelds, not just the original Evercade. And now for starters, let's take a look at, we got the original Evercade D-pad. The Evercade EXP one is a little bit smaller, but to be honest, one of the things I really liked about the original Evercade was the D-pad. I thought that was it worked out really good. This one, I haven't played it yet. Let me turn this off so it's not making noise every time I hit the button. I mean, when I'm hitting the button here, when I'm rocking it, I can actually feel it when it's hitting, up, down. There's like a little bit of a tactile click. I guess that's here too, but it's not as pronounced. That's the only way I could describe it. Now, as for the buttons, you can see that the buttons here are a lot bigger than the buttons on the Evercade EXP. They're a lot smaller, but I don't think that's going to be that big of a deal, and I'll kind of show why. I have the Nintendo DS here. I played this thing a lot. And actually, it's one of the reasons why I like the white version, because I had the white Nintendo DS, and it kind of reminded me of that in a little bit. But I played this thing a lot, and the buttons on the DS are smaller than they are on the EXP even. So that's why I don't think that this is going to be an issue with the buttons the way they are. The shoulder buttons, again, we got the regular bumper ones, and we've got a little bit of a concave for the second button here, so it's not, your finger's not going to slip off of it. Yeah, and then of course we got a regular D-pad here. And again, it's a lot tinier than it is here on the Evercade EXP. Let's move on. We got the Nintendo 3DS. This is the 3DS XL, and that was the Nintendo DS Lite. The buttons on the 3DS, they're very comparable. Just eyeballing it though, the ones on the Nintendo 3DS XL look a tiny bit smaller. And again, we got the D-pad, again, tiny D-pad. This is a lot bigger. And we might as well look at the handheld that Sony forgot and ditched as soon as they realized it wasn't doing as good as they hoped it would. But yeah, look, the Vita buttons are extremely tiny. They're either the same size or tinier than the Nintendo DS Lite. So yeah, I played this thing an awful lot too. So I really don't think these buttons are going to be any problem, even though the ones on the original Evercade are a lot bigger. While we're at it, might as well compare it to an Evercade VS controller. Again, I think these are comparable. These are pretty much exactly the same. Never did that comparison before, but here we are. Yeah, I have the buttons on the Evercade VS controller are exactly the same as the original Evercade handheld. Oh, and but the thing here though too is like on the shoulder buttons here, we got just flat shoulder buttons. I mean, there was a little bit wider, a little bit of a thing here, but this is a lot better with your way your fingers will just slide right in there. And they're not analog. None of these buttons are analog. But let's turn this on. I realized I was going to show Tate Mode, and I completely forgot to. So let's do that before we hook this up to the TV. And I do have another HDMI mini. So this is what I'm going to use, I guess, for this. So before we actually go and try and update, let's go into EXP. Let's try one of these Tate Mode games. Now, as soon as I hit the Tate button, we got the little indicator up there showing Tate. So, you know what I'm going to try? I'm going to try one game that is Tate Mode and one game that's not, just to see how that works. What is a good one? 1942. Let's try that. There we go. Right after the beginning. So, we'll play. And let's see when it flips. Right now. Okay. So we do that. And I don't know about this. I mean, it looks a lot better. I mean, I will probably get used to it playing it this way. But let's see here. Select coins. Oh, yeah, it's weird. I feel like I'm putting like all my pressure on the shoulder buttons down here. I think you could get used to it. but it's I wouldn't say it's the most comfortable thing in the world. What we need are some sort of accessory to be able to grip it lower, and that because the weight isn't the problem. There's no problem with the top being top heavy, but yeah, I feel like I need grip down here. That's the problem. If we're in the game and we hit the Tate Mode button, it just flips. Okay. Well, I noticed though is that the we don't have the border screen on the top of the bottom in Tate Mode, but if we do it here, we do. So that's interesting. Okay. So yeah, I wouldn't say that this is like I said, I don't think it's fantastic or anything, but it is nice to have that option. Really, I need more to grip down here. Maybe it's just me. Maybe this is something I can get used to. Let's choose something else. We've got Tate Mode on still. Let's choose Final Fight. Will this flashing lights warning? Oh yeah, you can play Final Fight in Tate Mode if you really wanted to. You wouldn't want to, but you can do it. But again, there's no border up and down. But maybe that'll come back after I do the update. Maybe that's something that's going to be in the update. Bit of a closer look there. Not bad, not bad. I'm actually just using my phone here to record this screen, and it looks really good. Normally, in this intro, they would show Jessica on the screen as proof that they have her. I didn't see that. It's not like this is an altered arcade ROM, like a recently altered one, because I think this is an intro for certain territories where they just didn't show her. Yeah, this is not the one I remember seeing in the arcades. All right, so we answered those questions. Let's see. I mean, the D-pad feels fine from what I'm doing so far. Gearbox system, check for updates. See if we can update. Now it's updating. Battery charged enough to do it. Let's see if it does that weird thing that it does with the VS. After it boots up, you see some weird yellow text. Yeah, I think they made it a little bit cleaner update. Oh, wait, no, I spoke too soon. There's the yellow text. But let's go back to like 1942 and see if we have borders in Tate Mode. It doesn't look like it. Still got the black screen on the top and the bottom. Now, some people said that, oh, you know what? Having the screen stretched wouldn't be too bad because it's not stretched too much. But I already know I don't like that because I have an arcade device that would let you do that. And I just don't like the way it looks. But I'll just show what that looks like. Full screen. Oh, I normally go pixel perfect. So we'll try that after this. Go back. That's what full screen looks like. It looks really weird to me. I mean, especially when you're looking at the text up there, you can just tell it's stretched, even though it's slightly. So if you wanted full screen, you could do that. You know, it really look weird. I'll show you. I just had an idea here. Go back to display. Pixel perfect. Pixel perfect is fine here, but there is no border. There's no bezel, which is odd. Unless I just don't have one selected. But there was one selected. Okay. Oh, you know what? You know what's weird? Was it on none? If it was on none, then why would I get? Oh wow, that's pixel perfect mode in non-tate mode. With wow, so that's weird though because there's a bezel here, but if I hit that button, it disappears. But I seems like I have none selected. What if I selected now that I have it selected? That back. Now it's there, and it's still there. But that's weird because if I select none, there shouldn't be a bezel. These are the same logo legends. I think these are the same ones as the Evercade EXP one is like really the only new one. But so there's no bezel here, but if I flop it back, why is the bezel still there? It looks like there's an error there. So the bezel was off, but it seemed like it was on. But let's go back to Final Fight. So, okay, this is more tolerable. But with the handheld, you'd want probably to fill the screen, but not full screen. Oh, wow. I just had an idea. Display settings, full screen. We've got it stretched out here. But say we go Tate mode. Wow, it lets you do this. Look at this. Look at how bad that looks. I'm surprised it lets you do that. But you can do it. Wow, look at that title screen. Look at that. Look at that. You can do this if you want. So we go back to play. select Pixel Perfect here and head back. But again, what's weird is like, okay, but flopping it back, we have a bezel, even though there shouldn't be. So now if we select the bezel and check, there we go. Interesting. Personally, though, the bezel I like is wireframe. That's what I always go with. Bingo. There we go. And if we do this, get to see, oh, it doesn't have that particular bezel in Tate mode. That is interesting. Let's just try these bezels out, I suppose. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Do I have to select the bezel separately? Oh my goodness. I did not account for that. You select the bezels differently between Tate and regular mode. I mean, so if we flip it, it's still okay. Okay, so if we go back this way, display settings, choose a different bezel. This one, I guess, back. Okay, that one. Now if we go back to Tate mode, it's still wireframe. Wow. It actually keeps track of the bezels separately between modes. That is surprising. So I guess there is no error because when I thought it should have gone back to have the bezel removed, it actually, you have to do that separately. Interesting. So yeah, okay, so we can hit Tate mode still in there. Right now that is selected. If I hit Tate mode here, it's wireframe. So it's like the two different modes have two different options, which is weird because you know what that meant? By default, regular mode, it had the bezel on, but in Tate mode, it had the bezel off. And that was the default. So weird, I guess. Really weird. I really can't make much more comment about it, but at least we solved that mystery. So let me hook this up to the TV and we'll check the rest of this out on there. All right, boy, this has been weird. I've been having a lot of issues with getting this working along with a regular camera that I would use for this type of thing. It's not playing very well with OBS and this device and the resolution it wants to output. So I'm using my regular webcam here. Okay, and there you go. For anybody that wanted to know if Namco collections work, yep, it works here. That answers that question because there were some people that had doubts. It's like, hey, since it didn't work in the Evercade VS, would it work in the XP? And the answer is yes, and that's because that it only was licensed for handhelds. So this being a handheld, it works. And just to be clear too, there's nothing on the screen while I'm outputting to television. So I just wanted to put that in there. Let's just run through the games that we're getting in the Capcom collection really quick. 1942, 43, 44, Bionic Commando, Breath of Fire, Captain Commando, Final Fight, Forgotten Worlds, Ghouls and Ghosts, Legendary Wings, Mega Man, Mega Man 2, Mega Man X, Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting, Strider, Vulgus, and Mercs. So those are our options there. Hidden games we'll get to later. I'm going to try some of the to unlock some of these hidden games, assuming that the method to do so is the same as in the Evercade VS. You know, I'm going to swap in the C64 collection later. Just that'll really test out the D-pad display. Again, I think I kind of showed some of the stuff already when I was looking through that. Oh, Tate mode. That'll be interesting. So yeah, Tate mode. That's something. Let's try that actually right now. Okay. Here it is right here in the main menu. You got bezels and Tate bezels. So actually, there's some bezels that aren't available in Tate mode, apparently. Which one? Origin. That one. That's the one that you can't have in Tate mode. Okay, that is something that was not clear. I assumed that it was the same bezel no matter where you went. So there you go. It's two separate options here, but if you're in the game, it only shows you the one for the mode you're in. Okay, dynamic rate control, we'll have that enabled. You won't see that. Accessibility, high contrast mode, let's turn it on. Wow, there you go. High contrast mode. Language, that was what we first saw when we booted up. We've got this updated, and then secrets, and we're going to try some of that out. But first, let's try, if we choose 1942 again and play. They plugged in, I want Pixel Perfect. I just getting kind of confused. Okay. Oh yeah, it's still a little bit too small here. I think if I had it in the Evercade VS, Pixel Perfect would be a lot bigger. Let's hit Tate Mode. And there you go. You can play Tate Mode on the television. And if I choose a different, okay, there you go. But then if I switch back, it's back to wireframe. Okay, there you go. That was the other thing I was going to try that I forgot to do. If we have it here like this and we choose full screen, wow, this is going to be a disaster. Look at that. Look at how terrible that is. But you know what? That's something I could have probably done on the VS as well. I just never thought about doing it. Oh, before we go looking for secrets, and again, this is hot swappable. You could just pull it out and pop in another cartridge. I've been addicted to Jumpman. Let's put in Jumpman. Select will bring up our keyboard. Yep. Yeah, okay. So we gotta hit 1. Now we can hit start again and 1 again, and then we have to go 2 because in order to play this properly, you've got to change the speed from default. I don't think you can make it past the vampire level unless you do. Oh. Now keep in mind, I've been playing this with an arcade stick, so with the D-pad is a little bit different. Oh, shoot. I wonder how I missed that jump. Now, to be honest, I much prefer the arcade stick than using D-pad on this. Wait a minute, what am I hitting? Oh, you know what it is? I'm hitting A. I need to hit B to jump. Okay, mystery solved. If you can tell, I haven't really played this with a D-pad or gamepad at all. I've been using an arcade stick for this. Okay, now Jumpman will be a little bit easier now that I can jump. Yep. I was hitting the wrong button completely. Man, I like this game way more than I ever did on the Evercade for whatever reason. But it's working just fine. I'm getting used to the D-pad. All right, well, Jumpman works just fine. I just kind of accidentally restarted the game. So yeah, D-pad works just fine. Let's finish this off by trying to find secrets. So if you don't want me to reveal any secrets, don't watch the rest of this video. But let's see if we can find any. Okay, so we'll try secret code. All right. There you go. We got Kubo 1 and 2. So now that we've unlocked Kubo 1 and 2, supposedly I won't have to enter that code in again if I want to play it. So if I go back, go to EXP, in games, boom. Nice. Now it's unlocked. This is something that needs to be implemented in the VS really soon. That way you don't have to. But 5, there should be more than 5. So some of these might not be available. So let's try another one. Art. There we go. Gribbly's Day Out. XP. 2 out of 5 games. Okay. Those are the only 2 that had secret codes, I believe. Well, does this one work? Holding R2, L2, and select. Okay, that one's not working. Unless there's some other method of accessing it, or I have to do it here. Oh, yep, there it is. You have to be on that screen to access it. So that was Gotris. 3 out of 5 games. So which ones are not going to be here? Unless the 5 is mistaken. So actually, let's make things a little bit more clear. We're going to take out the cartridge. And to be honest, this thing's been on for a while. I don't know if it's plugged in, but it is getting a little bit toasty, a little bit warm on the left side. I know Rich from Bacon Ice Cream Productions had said that, but with the cartridge out, and I can't really bring it over here, but the metal plate behind where the cartridge slides in without the cartridge in, that seems to be like the warmest. But it's not like where I can't hold it or anything. So, okay, so no cartridge inserted. We got L1, R1, and up. And then, okay. We're going to assume that got in there. And then L1 and R1 and down. Spacey McRacy, which I'm surprised is there because this was a 4-player game. It's best as a 4-player game, which is only really you can only really do that on the Evercade VS. Honestly, I haven't played any of these yet. I'd known about them. And okay, now the rest of them, that should have been 5. So the rest of them may not work. And it would make sense because the other 2 are native on the Evercade VS. So it would make sense that they're not native here, but we got to keep hitting menu, I guess. Yeah, that one's not working. So Fairy Fire, nope. And then, I mean, it could be possible one day. The hardware is supposedly similar. And then we'll try the last one, which obviously probably won't work either. It's the same thing. It's a native game. So L2, L2, R2, R2, R1, 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 R1. Yeah, it's not working. Okay, well then. And then obviously the other hidden games where it was like you had to insert 2 cartridges are not going to be on here because you can only insert 1 cartridge. So here we go, 5 out of 5 hidden games. So if you've unlocked them all so far, this is what you've got. Gotris, Gribbly Days Out, Kubo 1 and 2, and Spacey McRacy. And I guess we can sort these as well. So it's like we've got 2 separate built-in collections now. So we've got not only the 18 Capcom games, or the 5 hidden games, they're really getting 23 games, even without plugging in the IREM Arcade 1 collection. So that's going to be it for this video, but hopefully it gives you a pretty good idea what to expect with this Evercade EXP. And I'm really glad I actually went with the white one, the one I get the Founders Edition black one. Not exactly sure what I'm going to do with it. Since I like the white one, there's really no need for me to keep the black one, I suppose. So I might as well end the video here. Thanks for watching. See you all next time. Bye.